This lecture is for BCS Semester 3 students. Subject Business Communication 3. Course code FC302. Unit 4 Interview by Subject Faculty Kevin Parekh. Let's recap the previous session. The 1 mark question is define interview. The answer for that question is the term interview has been derived from the French word entrevoir, that means to glimpse or to see each other. By definition, it means a meeting for obtaining information by questioning a person or person. Then, in this way, an interview is a classic example of communication that takes place through the process by which meanings are exchanged between people through the use of a common set of symbols. You are only supposed to write from the third term interview to person or persons in the 1 mark question. Then we saw many other meanings of interview. After that, we shifted to the topic of what are the meanings set by Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary of the word interview. We saw many different forms of interview, not only for the job based interview, but many other types of interview. We also saw what is the purpose of interview. The purpose એટલે ઇન્ટરવ્યુનો હેતુ. તો ઘણા બધા હેતુથી ઇન્ટરવ્યુ લેવાતા હોય. There were many such purposes. Some of them were for job, for employment, the interviews were taken. The other was for the periodic revolution of the workers by some companies, that is to shift some workers from one department to another department. Interviews were held. The other purposes were exit interview, when an employee is supposed to leave the job, exit the job. Then at that time the interview is set by the company, and that is known as exit interview. Interviews conducted by company personnel to gather information on matters like workers' attitude, working condition, managerial effectiveness, to know about the functioning of the company. Also, the interviews are taken by the management of the companies. We also saw varieties of interview. The meetings for conversation that were arranged by journalists, that were to be broadcasted on radio or on television presenters, also will be categorized in the form of interview taken in the admission interview for the candidate to get admission in the higher education or in professional training. That also can be categorized in the interview. Interrogation of a person by the police about some happenings is also can be categorized in the form of an interview, or an interview given by a celebrity in a question answer session to the selected audience can also be categorized, or we can keep this in a form of an interview. Then we move to the topic of essential features of interview. There were many different features, purposes of interview. These essential features of interview are generally taken when an employee is hired in an office, and in the work process of that office while the employee's career is going on. At several point of time in their career, all the employees goes face through interviews, lots of interview. First time they face interview is when they are getting the job. This is the first time they face the interview. After getting the job and working in the company, at every point of time, at every different situation, they face many more interviews. So those are all the features of interviews. Methods of interview, how the interview can be taken by the interviewer. So these are some of the methods. The two methods that is in the 1 mark question is structured interview and the unstructured interview. The questions pre-prepared before the interview. Those pre-prepared questions are asked to the interviewee. This type of interview is called structured interview. And when the questions are not prepared, the questions are asked dynamically to the interviewee. Whatever the question is asked, the interviewee gives the answer to the interviewer. And based on the answer, they again ask another question to the interviewee. Such type of interview is called unstructured interview. When the questions are predetermined or prearranged, that type of interview is called structured interview. When the questions are not prearranged, those type of interview are called unstructured interview. There are pros and cons to both structured interview and unstructured interview. So this is the detailing. This question can be asked that explain two methods of interview in a 5 mark question. Another question was styles of interview or state two different styles of interview in a 1 mark question. In that we are not supposed to confuse ourselves that the methods of interview are structured and unstructured and the styles of interview is different. It is traditional job interview and the another style is behavioral job interview. So these are both the different styles of interview and we have seen the difference that in the traditional job interview, the traditional job interview uses board-based questions such as why do you want to work for this company, tell me about our strength and weakness. Interviewing success or failure is more often based on the ability of the job seeker to communicate, that on the truthfulness or content of his answer. So this is the main important statement that your ability to give the answer, your confidence is to be checked in the traditional job type of interview, that how you are confident of giving the answer, how you can communicate with the other person or you cannot communicate. Employers are looking for the answers to two questions. Does the job seeker possesses the enthusiasm and work ethics, that whether the job seeker wants to work enthusiastically, is he motivated to work, and if he is very motivated and an enthusiasm is there in him for work, he has the greed to learn new things. He wants to learn a lots of new things. He is completely filled with enthusiasm to know. He has a curiosity to learn each and every things. And this curiosity will take him further. And another things are the work ethics. Work ethics are also very important that the employer expects. Work ethics are basically related to the word respect. Respect with the team members, with the seniors, with the juniors at every point of time. Respect to the work, responsibility to the work, all can be considered in the work ethics. And another thing is enthusiasm. So all the characteristics that we have developed in the school and we are developing in the college, like sincerity, dedication, motivation, we are becoming sophisticated, we are learning communication languages, we are becoming upgraded, we are getting ourselves updated, we are learning new things, we are learning new subjects, we are developing our skills, and with this also at the time of job, this behavior will help us. This pattern of learning, of upgrading will help us. The only thing we need to in our only thing that we need to cultivate in our mind is enthusiasm, filled with positive attitude, to learn new things, to see everything in a positive way. That how we can in each and every situation, how we can get ourselves updated and be a very good team player and fit into the organization, no matter wherever we get the job. But we should be able to fit ourselves into that environment and adjust with everyone. So these are the things that needs to be cultivated in the traditional job interview. Another one is behavioral job interview. And it is based on the theory that past performances is the best indicator of future behavior. Whoever has got the rank in the university is more capable of hard working. That is to be judged on the basis of result. Whoever in your class have scored more in the practical subject in each and every semester is to always to be categorized as this person is very good in the practical, these persons are very good in the theory. The university rankers are always given preference that they are hardworking person, they are sincere, they are dedicated person. Only then only they can get into the they can get a rank into the university. And also the practical marks are checked, that what is their performance in the practical subject. Also the other extracurricular activities, whether they have participated or not, whether they have certificate or not, is also to be checked at the time of interview. So all these things will be counting, and these things are to be checked in the behavioral job interview, that what are the certificates, what are the mark sheets, what is there on your mark sheet, everything is to be checked. Then we moved to the types of interview topic. There are 16 types of interview. We were slowly covering each of them. The first type of interview that we covered was the selection interview. What was the selection interview? That used to make the interviewee, the job seeker, it used to make him anxious, nervous about when he's sitting in the interview. What the things were to be checked in the selection interview was this: the employer needs to know if you have the personality necessary to fit in. Again, same. Not only your marks, but you also need to have a personality. You also need to be good in communication. That is also to be checked in the interview. So these skills need also to be developed. Someone who cannot interact well with the management and co-workers may disrupt the functioning of an entire environment. Think of a person that is very good in marks, is getting university first rank, and or is getting A plus grade or O grade, but he cannot communicate with others. He remains alone, he cannot communicate smoothly with other classmates, he does not get mixed with other classmates, he or she have a very rigid nature. Then at the time of selection interview, after asking the question or in the group interview, they will come to know about this point, about the rigidity of that person in about 2 or 3 days of different sessions of interview. Or there is not only a single part of interview, but they call for the another round, they call for 3 rounds for interview, and they will come to know about that behavior, about that attitude. And the person, even if he is very good in marks, very good in result, but he is not able to communicate well with others, then he will be rejected for the interview, because that is the most basic skills, to be friendly with each and everyone in the office. That is how work can be done. Work can never be done alone. It can only be done in a team. The group interview, that was the another that we covered. The group interview will separate the leaders from the followers. Each and every place, each and every house, each and every organization, each and every department, there are leaders and there are followers. We know that very well. And in the group interview, out of all of the persons, the leaders are get separated and the followers get separated. They are categorized in the group interview. A group debate is given, a topic is given, and in the debate, you have to communicate well with each other. You have to get the practice of communicating in the English language. The third one that we saw was the panel interview. It means that the candidate is interviewed simultaneously by a group panel of interviewers. There will be a panel of 5 to 6 people, and simultaneously means at a time, એક સમય ઉપર 5 થી 6 જણા તમારું ઇન્ટરવ્યુ લે એને કહેવાય છે પેનલ ઇન્ટરવ્યુ. And they will be asking you separate questions on separate topics and checking your confidence. That do you appear to be very confident in giving answer to all? Do you hesitate or do you not? The another that we covered was promotion. That is at the time of your increment. These interviews are taken. And in that interview it is checked that you are capable of this post or you are not capable. Will you be able to handle the responsibility that are that for this higher post, or still you need time to be developed to get that promotion? So that was the type of promotion interview. Then it was annual interview. Annual interview is checked, to be checked, done to be checked for that if the employee after 1 year that employee who has done the job after 1 or 2 years is taken an annual interview, and his strengths are identified and his weaknesses are identified. And wherever he has weakness or problems, some employees might have problems in the technical part. Some employees might have problems or weaknesses in the communication part. That they are not good in communicating with all. They are not in mixing with all. Then in that annual interview, that weakness is targeted, and then that is to be removed. That is to be checked positively and removed. Some employees might have technical issues. They are not able to complete the project on time. Then that weakness is to be removed after giving them the solution. In such a manner, there are many strengths of every employee. Everyone has different strength. Everyone has different weakness. And that are to be explored after annual interview. And you have to, at any point of time, remove your weakness, face your weakness, and make that weakness your strength. The next today that we will be covering is assessment or appraisal interview. Periodical assessment of employees may be done by several methods, like completing self-assessment forms, assessment of performance by supervisors, and colleagues' opinion. But an interview is invaluable in assessing an employee's attitude to the job. It is possible to find out the employee's ambition, motivation, interest, and the state of his morale only by a face-to-face, frank and confident talk. So let's check this line by line. Periodical એટલે અમુક સમય અંતરે અસેસમેન્ટ એટલે ચેક કરવામાં આવે. તમારું રિઝલ્ટ ઉપરથી તમારે તારણ કાઢવામાં આવે, જોવામાં આવે કે આનું કેટલું અપડેટ છે. એ રીતે એનું કહેવાય કે અસેસમેન્ટ કર્યું એટલે તમારું જજ કર્યું દરેક રીતે બાય ઘણી બધી મેથડ્સથી હોય. લાઈક સેલ્ફ અસેસમેન્ટ ફોર્મ તમને તમારું જ રેટિંગ કરવા માટે આપે કે તમારું કોમ્યુનિકેશન કેવું છે, તમે તમારી જાતને રેટિંગ કરો. તમારું આ પ્રોજેક્ટ તમે 5 પ્રોજેક્ટ કર્યા તો એમાં તમારું રેટિંગ તમે તમારી જાતને શું આપો છો ઇન કમ્પેરિઝન ટુ અધર્સ. તમારું પરફોર્મન્સ તમે જે તમારા સુપરવાઇઝર્સ હોય એ તમારું રેટિંગ કરે તમારા પરફોર્મન્સનું. તમારા કલીગ્સ હોય, તમારા કલીગ્સના તમારા વિશે ઓપિનિયન લેવામાં આવે કે ભાઈ આ વ્યક્તિ છે તો આની આ સ્ટ્રેન્થ છે, આની આ વીકનેસ છે, આમાં આ પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ છે. ઓવરઓલ તમારા જે બધા પાસાઓ એ ખોલવામાં આવે ત્યારે. બટ એન ઇન્ટરવ્યુ ઇઝ ઇનવેલ્યુએબલ અસેસિંગ એમ્પ્લોયઝ એટીટ્યુડ ટુ ધ જોબ. આ એમ્પ્લોયઝનો એટીટ્યુડ શું છે એ ખ્યાલ ન આવે. એ ક્યારે ખ્યાલ આવે તો કે ઇટ ઇઝ પોસિબલ ટુ ફાઇન્ડ એમ્બિશન જોવામાં આવે તમારું કે ભાઈ તમારે ક્યાં પહોંચવું છે. તમે આ જોબ જોઈન કરી 2 વર્ષ થયા તો હવે તમારા કેરિયરમાં એમ્બિશન શું છે, તમારું મોટિવેશન શું છે, તમારા લાઈફમાં ક્યાં સુધી પહોંચવું છે, કેટલું આગળ જવું છે, તમારા એમ્બિશન ગોલ્સ શું છે, તમારા ધ્યેય શું છે, તમારો ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ શેમાં છે, તમારો સ્ટેટ ઓફ મોરલ પોઝિટિવિટી કેટલી તમારી અંદર છે. અને એ ફેસ ટુ ફેસ ફ્રેન્ક કોન્ફિડેન્શિયલ ટોક કરે ત્યાં જ તમને જાણવામાં આવે. ને એના બેઝિસ ઉપર તમારું અસેસમેન્ટ થાય. અપ્રેઝલ એટલે ઇન્ક્રીમેન્ટ. તમે જે સેલરી હોય ને સેલરીમાં 30%, 40% ઇન્ક્રીમેન્ટ થાય એ શબ્દને કહેવાય અપ્રેઝલ. એટલે અપ્રેઝલ ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ એટલે જે તમારો એ ટાઈમ આવે અપ્રેઝલનો ત્યારે આ બધી જ વસ્તુ ઓપન અપ કરવાની થાય અને તમારા પરફોર્મન્સના બેસિસ ઉપર તમને અપ્રેઝલ મળે. દરેક જગ્યાએ આવવું જોઈએ. પ્રોબ્લેમ ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ. તો another one is problem interview. An employee whose performance is unsatisfactory in spite of warnings by supervisor represents a problem in the management of the staff. An interview is more likely to show a solution just than other warning. At the interview, it is possible to find out the reason for the employee's poor performance. For example, domestic or personal problems, poor health and dissatisfaction with the job. ઘણા એવા વ્યક્તિ હોય જેને જોબ મળી ગઈ હોય પણ જોબની અંદર એને કામ આપીને એનાથી થાય જ નહીં. એટલે એ એમ્પ્લોયનું પરફોર્મન્સ સતત અનસેટિસ્ફેક્ટરી જ હોય. સતત એના સિનિયર ઉપર ડિપેન્ડન્ટ જ હોય અથવા એના કલીગ્સ આજુબાજુમાં એ પૂછપૂછ કરીને જ એનું કામ પૂરું કરતો હોય. એની જાતે એ કામ કરી જ ન હોય, એનામાં કોન્ફિડન્સ જ ન હોય. ક્યાંક વાત કરવાની છે, કંઈક ડિસિઝન લેવાનું છે તો એ સતત બીજાના ફોલોવર જ હોય. ત્યાં સુપરવાઇઝર ઘણી બધી વોર્નિંગ આપે જ્યારે એનો ટાર્ગેટ પૂરા ન થતા હોય, પ્રોબ્લેમ આવતા હોય, કામ પૂરું ન થતું હોય. અત્યારના કેસમાં તમારે અસાઇનમેન્ટ કરવાના હોય. અસાઇનમેન્ટ બધા ભેગા કરો એટલે એક પ્રોજેક્ટ થઈ જાય. એ પ્રોજેક્ટ જ્યારે કરવાનો હોય ત્યારે ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલી અલગ અલગ પ્રોજેક્ટ હોય બધાના અને એના તમને એ સેલેરી મળતી હોય. જ્યારે એ કામ તમારથી ન થતું હોય તમે સતત બીજા ઉપર ડિપેન્ડન્ટ રહેતા હોય ફોર એન એક્ઝામ્પલ ટુ સમવન, ત્યારે તમારું વર્ક અનસેટિસ્ફેક્ટરી જાહેર કરે સુપરવાઇઝર તમારા અને ત્યારે તમને એક વોર્નિંગ આપે અને ઓપન માઇન્ડેડલી તમારા પ્રોબ્લેમ સોર્ટ આઉટ કરવામાં આવે. ઘણા કેસમાં એવું હોય કે જેન્યુઇન ટેકનિકલ પ્રોબ્લેમ ન હોય પણ પુઅર પરફોર્મન્સનું કારણ પર્સનલ પ્રોબ્લેમ અથવા ઘરમાં કાંઈક પ્રોબ્લેમ ચાલતો હોય, ફેમિલીમાં કાંઈક પ્રોબ્લેમ ચાલતો હોય, અથવા એની જોબ પરાણે કરતો હોય, એની કામ કરવું જ ન ગમતું હોય. ઘણા એવા એમ્પ્લોય કે એને 9-10 કલાક સતત લાઈફ ટાઈમ કોમ્પ્યુટરની સામે બેસીને કામ કરવું જ ન ગમતું હોય. 10 કલાક ઓફિસ વર્ક આપે તો શરૂઆતમાં ગમે, 6 મહિના 1 વર્ષ જ્યારે નવું હોય, શીખવા મળતું હોય, ત્યારે એ મોટિવેટેડ હોય, ચાર્જ હોય, સેલરી હાથમાં આવતી હોય ત્યાં સુધી એને ગમે. 1 વર્ષ, 1.5 વર્ષ, 2 વર્ષ, પછી અમુક સમય પછી કંટાળી જાય કે ફૂલ ટાઈમ ઓફિસમાં 9 to 6 કે આ જ વર્ક કરવાનું છે, કે ઓફિસની બહારનો એન્વાયરમેન્ટ જોવા જ નહીં મળે. રિયલ લાઈફ, બહારની લાઈફ, ઓફિસની બહારની લાઈફમાં એને ઇન્ટરફિયર કરવા જ ન મળે. ઓફિસની અંદર, પીસીની અંદર જ એનું કેરિયર, આઈટીની અંદર ડિફાઇન્ડ હોય, ત્યાં જ એનું કેરિયર હોય. દે આર કેજ્ડ ઇન એન ઓફિસ, દે આર કેજ્ડ ઇન અ બિલ્ડિંગ. એ બિલ્ડિંગની બહાર એને સવારથી સાંજમાં જવાનું જ ન હોય. તો એ પછી એને ડિસસેટિસ્ફેક્શન થવા માંડે. આવું બધાને ન હોય, 10માંથી 1ને હોય, કે 20માંથી 1 જણાને આવું હોય કે એને જે જોબ કરે, જે કામ કરે છે એનાથી ડિસસેટિસ્ફેક્શન. બીજાને જોબ મળતી હોય, સારી સેલરી મળતી હોય, સારા પ્રોજેક્ટ્સ હોય, નવું લર્નિંગ મળતું હોય, રોજ નવું નવું કામ મળતું હોય, તો એ લોકો સેમ વર્કથી મોટિવેટેડ હોય કે કેમ કરીને રોજ મારે નવું કામ કરવા મળે છે, રોજ મને નવા પ્રોજેક્ટ્સ મળે છે, રોજ નવું એક્સપ્લોર કરવા મળે છે, રોજ નવા ક્લાયન્ટ સાથે ડીલ કરવા મળે છે, મારું ઇન્ક્રીમેન્ટ બહુ સરસ થાય છે, મારી પોસ્ટ અપડેટ થાય, તો એને એ ફિલ્ડમાં મજા હોય. અને બીજાનું થોડુંક થિંકિંગ અલગ એ હોય, તો દરેકના થિંકિંગ પ્રમાણેનું સેટિસ્ફેક્શન, એના કારણે એનું સેટિસ્ફેક્શન ને ડિસસેટિસ્ફેક્શન પણ હોય. અને એ ઇન્ટરવ્યૂની અંદર એ સોર્ટ આઉટ કરવામાં આવે, એને કહેવાય પ્રોબ્લેમ ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ. બાકીના છે આપણે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂના સ્ટાઇલ્સ છે from the 8th interview. We will be covering in the next section. Today we end this session.